forces that have come up through Crimea this way have approached the Zaporizhia nuclear power station here in the southeast. We believe that it is still at the moment in Ukrainian hands, but in addition, Russian forces also control the old Chernobyl nuclear facility, which has been mothballed. It's gone offline. The significance, if you will, of Russian forces trying to capture these nuclear sites in Ukraine.
Yeah, John, thanks. Look, it seems to me there's 4 other sites that they may have to go to, but they're trying to capture sites that will prohibit the Ukrainians from having power. If you start to take those nuclear sites, you can cut down the power in the whole country. That's the only reason I see what they're doing, because it makes really no sense to me militarily to take those sites, because they really don't do anything. You're not going to mess with them militarily. It looks to me like they're trying to take them to cut down power. But I would kind of look at it and go, okay, that's not the real concern I would have on it. You know, the biggest concern I have is where those troops are trying to go, and it looks like they're trying to cut off a huge eastern part, maybe connect Crimea with the breakaway republics there. But I just look at it and go, it doesn't quite make sense to me what they're doing. You know, overall, very candidly, it looks like they're failing in every significant level on their military approach. I think Putin made a big mistake, and the mistake he made is he forgot how to wage war. And it sounds really hard and really cruel, but he is coming at this thing incrementally. What I mean by this is an example. When he went in initially, he's always used pretty heavy cyber attacks. He did it in 2008, he did it in 2014. He didn't do it. So what has happened? Zelensky's been able to be on the air. Lights have still been on. The civilian population is not cowed at all. So he didn't take measures that a strong military advance should have. Thank God for that. Thank God, because he doesn't hurt the Ukrainians that much. But he's not waging war, and I think he tried to wage it on the cheap, and he's paying the price for it. And I really believe this. I believe if this happens for another couple of days, he better hire some more bodyguards, because I think his regime is in real trouble. He's already a pariah. His nation is becoming a pariah nation, and I don't think other leadership in Moscow and in Russia will allow him to continue. And if he loses this war, it will be a stunning development for the entire country of Russia.
Now let's talk about the increase in weapons as well that will be flowing into Ukraine. As we mentioned just a moment ago, Finland now says that it's going to send weapons down into Ukraine. Clearly, there's a lot that's coming through Poland already into Ukraine via the NATO route. Finland, we should point out, is not a NATO nation. But what do you make of the fact that Germany is now going to either by itself or through, I think, the Czech Republic, put 1,000 anti-tank weapons as well as Stinger missiles into Ukraine? That's a lot of material. That's a lot of lethal weaponry that is going to be flowing into Ukraine if they can get it across the border, if Russia decides that it's not going to try to take it out. What do you make of this development, particularly the fact that Germany, which has long said, look, we can't send lethal aid to Ukraine because of our constitution, there's prohibitions on that, now dropping those conditions and sending these weapons in?
Yeah, John, I would say to Germany, welcome to the game. You know, it's about time they've gotten involved, and they are, and I think it's important. It sends in an important message, because the real laggard in NATO has been Germany, both in funding and in the development of their military. I mean, their senior military officer, their equivalent of the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, just the other day on a Fox News article said that his military is basically can't function. It's basically worthless. And I think it's a significant indication that they now realize where they've been in the last few years, and they need to get into the game. And I think for Putin, he's now realizing, oh boy, if you can get Germany on board, where are the next steps? It's going to be economic issues. They're willing to take the hard call on weaponry. And what if they take the hard call on energy and say, we don't need your energy anymore? And if you want to cripple Russia, you have all the European nations, the European Union, say, we are going to look elsewhere. We are going to shut down these pipelines of energy, and that's when Russia has a very significant economic problem, not only economic but diplomatic and eventually military as well.
You know, General, you mentioned energy and pipelines, and take a look. These are all the pipelines that are coming into Western Europe from Russia. You've got Nord Stream up here. Nord Stream 2, which was a parallel, has been canceled, at least for the moment. But you've got all these pipelines coming in. And if these nations were to say, you know what, we're not going to take any more Russian oil and gas, that would cut off a huge slice of the revenue to Russia. We should point out Vladimir Zelensky reacting to the German Chancellor's announcement of 1,000 anti-tank weapons and 500 Stinger missiles, saying Germany has just announced the provision of anti-tank grenade launchers.